Yo, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Right now, I was actually debating whether I wanted to make a YouTube video about this topic or a live stream, but I thought, like why not both, hopefully. And what I want to do right now is I want to go into Obsidian and I want to start testing a specific plugin made for space repetition. So these are flashcards, of course, is a way in which we can, learn things over time. So that is what I'm gonna be trying. It's a really cool plugin that I've really been wanting to test for a while, but I'm gonna get around to it. So this is related to what I currently use, which is Anki. So if you're familiar with Anki, I'm actually opening it right now so that you know what I'm talking about. But either way, I mean, chances are you probably know what flashcards are, what space repetition is. Let me just say no to all these updates right now. Yeah, give me a second. There we go. Yeah, so this is Anki. Let me just share my screen with you. There you go. So this is Anki right here. There we go. I don't know why I have that strange yellow line. Huh, that's kind of weird. There you go. Okay. So yeah, this is Anki, and this is one that I use for my space repetition. Atharva, how do you pronounce your name? I'm so sorry. Atharva, thank you, man, for being here. Really appreciate it. Yeah, feel free to drop any questions if you have anything that you would like me to discuss. I'm gonna be sharing Obsidian and how I'm gonna try to see if I can use it as a replacement to Anki, which is exactly what I was showing right now. So Anki is this one where I have all of my flashcards, and I have a lot of them. I use it for several different purposes. The primary one is language learning. That is the thing that I'm the most passionate about when it comes to space repetition and flashcards. But I also use it for a lot of memory techniques, which I might explain a bit if anyone's interested, because it's something I'm also super passionate about. And yeah, well, I have other things, but those are the really two main uses of what I use flashcards for. And as you can see, here's like all the time that I've been using Anki for. This previous time when I wasn't like that diligent was because I was trying RemNode. So yeah, I've been doing it for a while. I would say maybe like, I don't know, I really have no idea, but like months and months. I haven't done a full year though, not yet, of like everyday flashcards, but I do it every single day. So, it's something I'm really excited about. And there's only one problem with Anki, which is why I've been looking into alternatives. In a previous stream that I did, I was taking a look at Neurocache, which is a really cool tool. The problem is that right now, because I have an Android phone, it doesn't work with Android. So that is a big problem that I am facing right now. That Neurocache seems to be like the solution that I might need. Still seems to be pretty early on, it's not fully developed. But the big problem that I have right now is that it doesn't work with Android. And I would like to be able to connect it to a Notion table. I think that would be the best solution I can think of. I've been trying to make Anki work, this one right here, with Google Sheets, for instance. But what I really want to do is to be able to have a two-way sync. And there seems to be no way to do that with Anki, with Google Sheets. I was thinking Google Sheets because online there's a couple of plugins that let you do something similar, but it's nothing that really syncs it two-way. I want to be able to create a table. What do I have here? A hair. I want to be able to create a table, and from that table, automatically sync into flashcards. You know, that is my ultimate goal that I like to be able to achieve. I think ideally with Notion, to be honest, but I haven't been able to find anything that works with Notion right now. NeuroCache seems to be the only way to do it right now. But again, it doesn't work for Android yet. They say it's on the plans, but like, you know, you just never know when that's gonna be released. I might try to contact someone to see if I can figure out when that will be released for NeuroCache. But in the meantime, I'm checking out other alternatives. And again, the only reason why I'm not super happy with everything, you know, having all my flashcards in Anki, the only problem really is how hard it is to update old cards or create new cards or organize cards. Like, you know, I really believe in the idea of creating your own flashcards, right? But with Anki, the problem is that is not that easy to achieve, is not that comfortable. There's a lot of barrier. I do all of my flashcards space repetition in my phone, so thankfully there's a really cool app for Android, at least. I mean, there's one for iPhone as well, for Anki. The one in Android is called Anki Droid. That one's super cool. But again, the problem is that creating flashcards from the Android app, is not that comfortable. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, I mean, that is my only problem, the creation of flashcards. So that is why I'm going to be looking at the Obsidian possibilities that we can do in there. You know, like that is what we're going to be looking at. There's a really cool plugin that I want to explore. Ronith, hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. Ronith, did I pronounce that right? I hope so. Let me know. But yeah, if you have any questions, you know, I'm going to be talking about space repetition and flashcards in Obsidian. But if you have any other questions, I'm happy to tackle those before we get into the Obsidian, you know, hands-on. Bellem Reese, thank you so much for being here again. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for joining on the live stream like so many times. I really appreciate it. So yeah, the question is, how does the non-memory flashcards work? I've used flashcards for language and math, but not for general knowledge. Yeah, okay, that's a great question, you know, like, and wait, before that, run it. Yep, okay, I pronounced it correctly. Thank you so much. Feel free to drop any questions that you might have. I'm happy to tackle them right now. You know, at any point, I'm happy to answer any questions, but like, if you have any unrelated to space repetition, maybe now is the time before we jump straight into the space repetition stuff. But in the meantime, yeah, let's answer this question. So, a lot of people, you know, and that's a debate that we were having in a previous live stream about what is the difference between a flashcard, which is like a back and forth, you know, like if you have a piece of paper, I'm gonna be using this, which is the control for the lights. This one. Oh man, I should maybe change that color. Maybe that works better. Cool. Let me know how you like that color. Either way, so a flashcard, you know, you have something on one side, like a question on one side, and an answer in the other. That's the general concept of how a flashcard works, right? Now, space repetition is just seeing flashcards during a period of time, you know, like throughout a period of time where you revisit these ideas and get to commit them to memory or internalize them, as I prefer saying it. You know, memory is amazing. You know, I think a lot of people underestimate the power of memory, and they say like if you memorize something, you don't understand it. But to me, the first step to understand something is to memorize it. So personally, the way I use all my flashcards and all my space repetition is always with the front and back. You know, I don't really like doing the flashcards that don't have this front and back. So, you know, to answer your question, all of my space repetition flashcards are like flashcards. Like, they're all memory. Yeah, they're all memory. You know, I try to memorize them all. Sorry. Yeah, so, you know, like it's like this idea that absolutely every flashcard I do has a front and back. So for me, they're all about memory. A lot of people have flashcards that just have like a question, or not even a question, just a fact, a statement, and they see that during a period of time. To me, that's a different concept. That's more incremental reading, which we can talk about if you have more questions. Like incremental reading is to me, slightly different, but yeah, we'll see. Roger. Let me know if I'm saying that right. Welcome, thank you for being here. It would be great to have flashcards literally in Obsidian, like a card view of the paints. That is exactly what I'm going to be exploring today. So, you know, stay tuned because that is what we're going to look at. There's a way to have flashcards inside of Obsidian And yeah, I mean, let me see if I can give you a bit of a preview just to get you a bit excited. So, okay, so right now, this is Anki. But if we go to Obsidian, which I should have opened here, I just had a couple of like test things. Let me just delete this. I'll delete all of this because I want to test things from scratch. But yeah, if we go to the one that we're going to be looking at, which is space repetition, we're going to be looking into this in a second. At first I want to just cover some of the basic concepts that we're going to be looking at before we dig deep. But yeah, in here, if we go to the page where the creator of this plugin shares all the code and stuff. Why is that page weird? Okay, that page is acting weird. There we go. Yeah, so here's a quick demo, and this is exactly what we're going to be looking at. A way in which we can have flashcards, as you can see right there. This is a flashcard inside of Obsidian. Let me just clear the question because you can't see this properly. But yeah, as you can see, there's the good, hard, easy, which is the same method that we use in Anki. So that is what we're going to be exploring today. And yeah, I'm really excited because I think this is pretty revolutionary in terms of what is possible inside of Obsidian. So really looking forward to that. Thank you so much for being here, man. I have annotated PDF and I just want to export the highlighted and commented text in Markdown. Okay, so yeah, so like you have an annotated PDF. Can I know a bit more about this? Like, where did you annotate your PDF? Because that, yeah, depending on that, I can give you a couple of suggestions, perhaps. There's one way. I can show you something though. For PDF, if I'm not wrong, and maybe I'm making this up. Better PDF plugin. Okay, yeah, PDF highlights. Okay, so this would definitely be helpful for you because there's a PDF highlight system inside of Obsidian where you can have the PDF, you can highlight it in here, and it exports all the highlights. I mean, actually, I think this is exactly what you need. The only problem is that you would have to highlight it all inside of this plugin, rather than actually if you have the PDF highlights somewhere in like Adobe Acrobat or any other tool that you might be using. I don't know if there's a way in which you can easily export into Markdown, but I highly recommend you checking out this plugin. It's PDF highlights, and yeah, it does exactly that. So I think this is probably the best way to achieve that. And the creator of this, Alexis, I've talked to him and he's a really cool guy. So if there's anything missing, you can always like go to the repository and ask any questions or any requests that you might have. So yeah, I think that might be the best way to do it. Cool. Nice. Guys, if you have any other questions that are maybe not related to space repetition, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll check them out. If not, we can jump straight into the Obsidian plugin. Let me have a bit of a water break in the meantime. It's getting a bit cold, to be honest. Let me get a jumper. It's getting a bit cold. I'm kind of shivering. Cool, this is my Jedi robe. I forgot how to wear these things. There we go. Cool, Jedi mode. Cool, all right. So yeah, with that, I think we can, now that we're cozy and warm, we can get into the plugin. So yeah, right now, like a couple of things. First is just the standard method. Here I have like an empty demo. I actually call this vault test empty. This is a vault that I have to test things. Sometimes I call it demo, but it doesn't really matter. So like what we're gonna be doing right now is installing the plugin that we're gonna be using. So command comma or control comma. Let me remove my face so that you can see it all. This is the same way as going to the settings. As you can see, I don't have the sidebar because I have a little plugin that just hides the sidebar because I don't tend to use this at all. I always use the shortcuts. But yeah, if we go to settings and we go to browse, there's this one that we're going to be looking at today called space repetition. So here in space repetition, I just installed it. Let me uninstall it just to show you from scratch. You install it. It's going to take a little second to load and then you enable it. That part is very important. Otherwise it doesn't work and that always becomes a problem. So like, now if you go to community plugins and you search for space repetition, you will see right here that is already turned on, right? If you click on it, it will take you here where you can check more info. You know, it's just the same as searching it. And what we can do in here is actually, let's go to the documentation, which, well, we already had open, so I'm just gonna open it here on the side. There we go. And now in here, you know, it's important to check a couple of the instructions. I was checking it briefly. I really wanted to just, you know, learn how to use it on the stream so that, you know, like if you have any questions, you can tell me now and I can try to tackle them. I'm learning by your side, so, you know, like I'm not an expert in this yet. I'm literally just testing it. So looking forward to that. Yeah, so thank you, Santi. I tried with Adobe. It was an option of exporting, but the file extension is FDF, and there is option converted to Markdown. Thanks for the plugin suggestion. Yeah, definitely. No, like I was saying, like that plugin might be the best way, because the more streamlined way, you don't need to export things, you know, within another application, but rather you can have it all in one same place, which I think is really good. You know, like of course, there might be certain features that you might have in Adobe Acrobat that you won't have in the plugin that we were talking about a second ago, but yeah, I still think it's the best way to go. So definitely give that a go and see how it works. Cool. Nice. So yeah, let's get back to the space repetition. Again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them anytime. I'm happy to switch back and forth between topics. But yeah, so in here, what I was saying is that there's a couple of things that we need to keep in mind for setting things up. One of the most important ones is how the decks work. And you know, like compared to the way that Anki works, as you can see, this is how Anki works, right? Anki, all of these are decks, and you can have subdecks. So I have this one, which is like languages, and I can expand them and I can see all the different languages that I have, right? So that way I'm able to organize and categorize everything. Now, I was reading a bit of the instructions here in the README. And yeah, there's a couple of ways in which we can organize things. One is to use the tag flashcards. So we're gonna try that first, but I actually really like the idea of having it all in subfolders. Now, if you're using other different syntax that might conflict with this, that can become a problem. That's why I wanted to try this on an empty vault in Obsidian, because I know I have certain things in my main vault in Obsidian that will cause conflicts with this method, but that method looks really cool. Now, you know, I'll get into it so that you know what I'm talking about, but either way, so let's get into Obsidian. Let me show you. So here in Obsidian, now that it's enabled, we can go and we can just create a new note. So let's just do test one, flashcards. Okay, and now by default, if we go to the settings, again with Control comma or Command comma, and we go to space repetition and we go right here to this little gear icon, here are the settings, which you can also find by just scrolling down and going down here, right? Now in here, as you can see, the flashcard tag is flashcards. You can always change it for something else, especially if that maybe conflicts with another, you know, another plugin that you might be using. Because in the past, for instance, I've definitely used one called, let me show you. This one right here, so Anki. Obsidian to Anki. I've used this one, and this one also uses the tag flashcard, you know. And I've also tried this one, which is flashcards, and this one, of course, uses similar tags. This one actually by default uses card. I believe this one uses flashcard. So either way, you know, like if you've been testing one of those, and you want to avoid any conflicts, you can always change this here and name it whatever you want. As long as you keep using that one, there shouldn't be any problems. And thankfully, you can also do, you know, you can always rename this in the future, which shouldn't be that big of a problem. But yeah, either way. So now in here, you can see that there's a couple of really cool features. So convert folders to decks and subdecks, right? This is something I want to explore because I think it's really cool. And then we have a couple of extra settings that we're gonna be exploring as well. Now, a separator for inline flashcard. You can have this double colon. Is that what it's called? Double colon? Is that a colon or a semicolon? I'm so sorry, I don't even know. I think a semicolon is... Okay, it doesn't matter. I think we're gonna call it colon, but if I'm saying it wrong, just correct me, right? So either way. So here we have our colon. And you know, we can have, if we want a reverse flashcard, we can use it 3 times. Now again, because I have used other plugins that actually conflict with this, I can always change it. But for now, we're just gonna keep it everything in default, and if we need to do anything, we're gonna be modifying. What I really like is the fact that we have quite a few settings, you know. Again, it's not gonna be as extensive as Anki, but hopefully we have some really good settings that we can mess with. Joe Law, what a cool name, Joe. Thank you for being here, Joe. Whenever I try to review the flashcards that I have, the name of the flashcard deck just shows up as Lash. How can I change this? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be looking into that. So you're talking with this plugin, right? With the space repetition plugin in Obsidian? Or are you talking with some other plugin or some other tool? Yeah, we're gonna be looking into that. Actually, you know, as I keep going, feel free to let me know more information about this, because yeah, I don't know why that would be happening. That's strange. I'll see if I stumble upon that same error, and if so, we can address it. But yeah, let me know, especially if you are talking about this specific plugin, and if you maybe messed up with any of the settings. Okay, yeah, cool. So Joe is saying this plugin. Yeah, okay, we're gonna be looking into it, you know, because again, I haven't tested it fully, so I don't know why that would happen. But yeah, also if you can, let me know if you already messed up with some of the settings, or if these things that happen is with like the default settings, because that could also be causing conflicts. Yeah, I'll look into it right now. I'll see if I stumble into the same error. If not, feel free to let me know more information about why, or you know, what you think could be causing this. Like, the main thing I can think of is maybe one setting here that is maybe messing up with it. If not, I highly recommend that you go to the to here. Yeah, right. So that you go into the space repetition, you go to this link right here, which you already have open, but just to show you. And then if you see this error like appearing too many times, just create an issue, you know, like that's the best way to be able to solve this kind of stuff. You can go to issues, create new issues. You know, right now I'm logged out of GitHub because I was solving some things in my browser, but either way, you can just create in there an issue, and you can just explain what the problem is to the creator, and he might be able to help you with this problem. You know, again, if I find the problem myself and I find out how to solve it, I'll definitely let you know. But if not, maybe this might be the best way to solve that. But yeah, thanks, Joe, for the question. Feel free to ask any questions if you have anything else in mind. But yeah, with that, let's go back to the plugin in here. And let me just move this to another. There we go. Okay, so now that this has been, you know, enabled, we can see a bit more about the instructions and so on. I'm definitely gonna guide you. We're definitely gonna learn together. But some of the things that are already read from the main page is that, let me just put it here. Yeah, is that you can do the tags. Okay, so these decks, you can use the flashcards, and that's the default. So that's the one that we're gonna be testing right now. So, yeah, by the way, Joe, no problem. Let me know if you have any more questions. Happy to help. Right. So in here, you know, we're just gonna be doing something like, let me just zoom into this too small. There we go. That's quite good. Cool. So, you know, what we're gonna be doing right now is, this is my first flashcard. Or, you know, let's make this into a question. Is this my first flashcard? And now the answer, we want to do yes. Now, in order to have the back of a flashcard, we need to do the 2 colons like that, and then the answer that is yes, right? And now if everything goes well, we should be able to do Control P or Command P, and now we can search for space repetition, review flashcards, right? So we can also write review, which is a bit quicker. Review flashcards. It says that we have 0 ones, right? This is because I forgot to add the tag flashcards. Let me just check if that is correct. If it's flashcard or flashcards. Okay, it is flashcards, so now we're good. Now let's take a look, review. Yep, now it says that we have 1 new card. And you know, this should be similar to Anki. So if we go to Anki, let me just see how things look. Okay, so Anki right now, I don't have any new ones because I already did my Anki cards today. But you know, I could do some custom study perhaps. Yeah, let me see. Okay, so let's do some Latin. Okay, custom study. What is the best way to do this without messing things up? Select, yeah, let's just do 10 new cards or 5 new cards. Yeah, let's just do 5. New cards only. Yeah, let's do this one, okay? So let's do that one. Okay, and now when you study, you see that in Anki it says to review, and those are green, right? In orange is learning cards, cards that you've already reviewed at least once, but you don't know yet, and new are the ones that you know, that you haven't done yet. Well, learning, if we rephrase it, is like the ones that are in the process of learning. You know, flashcards that you've already done at least once, and they're in the process, right? So if we take a look at that, let's see if it's the same, okay? So let's take a look again. So let me actually move this here. Okay, so green is to review, right? Let's see if that's the same in here. Okay, you see, maybe the colors are slightly different because we should have, you know, in green we should have 1 because that's a new card. Now in Anki, we have new in blue. New in blue, that seems to be the same. Oops. And then orange is learning. So yeah, that's kind of strange. It's not the same as Anki, which is kind of I don't think it's a, you know, it's not a deal. How do you say deal breaker? It's not a deal breaker at all. But yeah, we're gonna have to check out if that becomes a problem at any point. I mean, you know, it just should be different colors, but you know, it's always kind of confusing if you're used to Anki and then you're using this. But again, it shouldn't be a deal breaker at all. Either way. So now let's review this. When we click on it, we should see our first flashcard that we created. So is this my first flashcard? Show answer? Yes. And now here, I really like the fact that this is almost identical to Anki, because if we go to Anki again, and you click study now, you know, now here you have a word in Latin, ferre, which I believe is to carry. I think it's to carry. Yeah, to carry, bring, bear. You know, you have this type of answers, right? You have again, hard, good, and easy. So let's compare that to how the space repetition plugin is doing. So we have hard, good, and easy, right? The only thing that we don't have, that Anki has, is again. Now I wonder if that is always the case, or, you know, depending on the card. That's a bit of a shame, because in Anki, like, the 2 cards that are really the most useful ones is good and again. You know, a lot of people recommend that you only use those 2. So I wonder what happens when you just want to do like again. You know, like, that's a bit of a shame. Again, not a deal breaker yet, but you know, like, I would say good in this time, you know. And now we have one in, like, you know, I need to know what the colors mean, because they're not the same as the ones in Anki as we saw. But if I click on this again, can I review it? Okay, because I already reviewed it today, it seems like I can review that one again. What's really cool, you know, is that it creates this, what is it called? Like an ID, right? Which is a way in which the plugin knows what flashcard is this, so that if you modify it, you know, that's something that I really like I can modify this card. I can't type this card, right? And that should be able to, next time I review it, I should be able to just see that flashcard modified, which is quite nice, right? But yeah, let's do, you know, let's delete this for now, and let's do another one. Is this my second card? And now the answer is yes, right? So if we review, and again, note that right now there's no ID number right here, because the ID number is created after you review it at least once. At least that's my guess. So now we have, you know, we have 2 cards in total. Okay, so it seems like orange means how many cards in total you have, right? And then blue seems to be how many new ones. So right now it opens into, this is my second flashcard, right? We can show the answer, but first I want to show you how you can open a file, right? So if you open a file in here, it takes you to the original file where this card was created, which is quite nice, right? So now from here, if we take a look at the review flashcard again, and we show an answer, let's say that this was hard, okay? So as you can see, there's an interval. There's a number right next to each one of these. This means that you will see the same flashcard in 1 day. This one means that you'll see it in 2.5 days. And if it was easy, you'll see it in 3.5 days. Now, Anki and space repetition, well, not just Anki, but space repetition, such as this one. There's other ones, you know, there's the super memo space repetition algorithm. There's the Anki one. There's REM node, super memo, Anki, you know, just to name a few. This one should be, I don't know if it's based on super memo. Let's actually take a look if it says somewhere what algorithm is this based on, because that is really going to change the way certain things work. Like I am kind of familiar with the Anki algorithm, and the algorithm is just a way in which it calculates when it should show you a card next. But let's try to see if this one is based on one of these known algorithms, or if it's a completely new algorithm. Yeah, I can't seem to find that. I don't know. I'll definitely check that out later, because it'd be good to know what algorithm is this based on, or if it was a custom-made algorithm for this plugin. You know, that is a part that kind of really changes certain aspects of this. But yeah, either way. So, you know, like, let's do this one hard. There you go. So, okay, orange seems to mean just the number of cards that we have in total, right? Blue seems to be new ones, and green, learning. I don't know what green means yet. But anyway, as you can see, now we have an ID in there, right? So now what I want to see is what happens if I have, how do things get organized if I have test2, you know, this is a separate file. And I'm also gonna tag this with flashcards so that it works. And then, you know, like, is this my third flashcard? And let's do the answer, yes. There we go. So now review. Again, we should be able to see that now there's 3 total cards. There's a new one. So now if we open the file, of course, it's gonna take us to this one. But now what I would like to see is like, okay, this is a part that I don't fully like about the organization of the flashcard, which is why I want to test the other feature. The other feature allows me to do everything based on folders, which I think is way better. So like, you know, what happens if we just do like folder 1 and we just put this one in here? My guess is that that shouldn't do anything. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, but when it starts doing certain things is when we do convert folder to deck and subdeck. Okay, so now when we review, yeah, now as you can see, is organized on folder and this kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, I just realized what was the problem, Joe. So yeah, this is exactly what you meant. As you can see, I have the same thing where I have this slash, right? This is because you turn on the setting, convert folders to decks and subfolders, right? Now this slash simply means, oh wait, sorry, I wasn't showing my screen. Yeah, okay, so you see, like, when you go to the settings right here, space repetition, when you turn on convert folders to subdecks, to decks and subdecks, that will make it so that whatever is on a folder will be shown as that folder. So as you can see, if I go to review now, you will see that I have folder 1 and I have a slash. Now what does slash mean? Slash means root folder. Now root folder just means that that there's a flashcard, which is this one, that is not in any other folder. So if we do folder 2 and I drag and drop that in there, there shouldn't be any, the slash is no longer there, because the slash just means main folder, or like is not in a folder. That's the thing. So it's not a bug. I couldn't understand when you meant that earlier, but that's what that means. So again, if everything was in the main folder and nothing was in a folder, actually let me delete this just to be super clear. If everything is there and now we review, everything should be under this slash. It just means in your main vault. It's not in any folders. It's just in your whole nodes, right? So yeah, it needs to be categorized. Exactly. Yeah, that's what it means. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, this is just a way to categorize things. So that is exactly what we're gonna be looking at. how we can have a better organization. So that's what happens when we set up this toggle, convert folders to decks and subdecks. If you don't want this and you just want to see everything under flashcards, then you turn this off. But I think it's way better to have this. Now, let's just rename this to test, right? Test, like that. And I'm gonna be putting these two nodes inside of there, right? And now when I review, there we go. When I review flashcards, everything is under review, right? Now, what I would like to see is what happens if I delete these flashcards. Because I think when you toggle this thing on, you no longer need, let me just see if I'm right. Okay, yeah, let me just reload just to make sure that I'm right about that. Yeah, let's just give it a second for that to reload. Okay, it should be there. Okay, yeah, let's just make sure that this is working. Let me just clear this. Okay, so now when we review, yeah, still working. So as you can see, we no longer need to put flashcard like that because we toggled this thing on, right? The space repetition. So now because we toggle this on, is this an alternative to the flashcard tag option above? So now you don't necessarily need to put this in here, right? Now what happens, I'm just curious, like, test 3. What happens if I use the flashcard? And this is just a test, right? Like what happens there? I presume nothing. Yeah, okay, as you can see, it's just like the root folder, which is represented by a slash. Root folder, again, just means the main folder of Obsidian. It just means in your Obsidian fold, meaning in no subfolders, right? So just in here, rather than inside of one of those. Let me just delete this one. That's another thing. Yeah, so, yeah, as you can see, now we really don't need this at all. I'm actually gonna delete this one right now because we don't need it. But now we can start creating some folders. So let's do languages. And again, maybe the best way to deal with this so that you can organize everything perfectly, I would even say, like, space repetition. Maybe let's see what happens if we just create one folder where we put all of our flashcards, just to keep things organized, Let me just see how that looks. So review. Oops, that's not it. Review flashcards. Yeah, okay, so now we have a master folder, and from there we have tests, right? We created the folder languages, but because we don't have anything in there, then it won't show anything, right? It won't display. So now let's do Latin, and let's do Latin test 1, or let's just do, yeah, this is, yeah, just like that. And now let's review. So now we should be able to have languages. Okay. It's not reading the folders, right? I don't know if there's any way to have it so that the folder is a deck. Sorry, that the node is a deck. Let me actually check real quick if that is possible. It might be possible, to be honest, but I'm not fully sure. Flashcards hyper. Yeah, for now we're just gonna be creating, like, instead of making this just one node, I wish the node became a deck, because as you can see, if we go again to review, we have a space repetition languages, but I would like to see Latin in a similar way that I see it in here, right? I have languages and I have Latin, and then inside Latin I have different subdecks. So this is the structure I like to replicate, and I would like to be able to do that with a node, but it seems like it's not possible now, at least not by default. I'll maybe explore later if it's possible, but maybe, yeah, I just don't like the redundancy of having to name a folder Latin and then the other one Latin as well. But maybe I could have, I don't know how to best deal with that, but for now I'll just keep it duplicated, and then if we review, now we should be able to have languages and then Latin, and then inside of Latin we have this one right here. Now right now I'm just gonna close this. Yeah, let's see what the comments are. Okay, so we have a question by Mo. Thank you so much for being here, Mo. Is it safe to use the community plugins? Okay, this is a great question, because I get asked this a lot, and a lot of people in the community, in Discord for the Obsidian, that's where Obsidian is really, that community is really active, as well as the forum, you know. And a lot of people tend to ask this, especially people that are brand new to Obsidian. And, you know, it's hard to guarantee that it's 100% safe, but honestly, I haven't had any issues. And let me just show you, like, well, because this is a test vault, let me just check how many plugins I have, because in my main one I have way more. No, okay, this one is still like pretty full because it's just a test vault. And if you take a look at that, you will see that I have 56 plugins installed, which is quite crazy. I don't necessarily recommend you install absolutely everything. You know, the main reason why I literally install a lot of plugins is because I make videos discussing plugins, and because I make a lot of content exploring plugins. Not because I'm just curious and I really like different plugins, you know. Do I advise to have that many plugins? Maybe not. But to be honest, like, I am someone who uses a lot of plugins and I haven't had any issues, you know. Now, it's important to consider what are the potential issues that you might have with plugins. You know, I think, of course, especially because people in Obsidian are very concerned about privacy. You know, Obsidian kind of really sells that idea that these are your nodes, no one else has access to them. Plugins, community plugins, is one of the vulnerabilities that someone might be afraid of, because whenever you install a plugin, let me actually show you, you know, like whenever you install a plugin, let's actually give an example of the one that we're looking at, right? Space repetition, this will take us to the installation place. And again, if you click in here, which I already have open right here, now in here's where you read more. Now, as far as I know, you know, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, or at least like the way I've seen absolutely every plugin that is created for Obsidian, they're all open source, or at least most of them, you know. Like, the license is very important. Some people don't have the license, but MIT just means that you are able to take this code and modify it, you know. So of course, programmers, if there's someone that says that, okay, this plugin is kind of alright, but maybe you know, I don't trust it that much, or maybe I want to modify it, they can just copy all of this code, and you know, you can just clone all of this, or fork it as it's called, and you can create your own plugin out of it, you know, because it's kind of open source, right? Now, the fact that it's open source also means that anyone, you know, especially people that are knowledgeable and know programming, they can just look inside of all of this code. You know, you can clone it, or you can download it, and you can check into the code. So, you know, actually, let's do that just for the sake of example. I have so many things open right now, but either way. So, okay, in here, this is the terminal, just to show you what is going on behind the scenes. Git clone, space repetition. Okay, now this has been downloaded, and as you can see, well, I have a couple of things in here, it's kind of unorganized, but as you can see, here I have the space repetition thingy. Let me just reload this. For some reason, my computer froze. Let me see if it's working now. Okay, there we go. Cool. You know, so now you can see that this is all the code needed in that plugin. All of this code is the code that you download into your Obsidian whenever you install a plugin. Now let me just show you what that looks like. I'll take you to my notes. Okay, so test empty. This is where we have our tests, right? So okay, I know this can be confusing, so just bear with me for a second. And of course, there's better ways to visualize all of this. I'm doing it from the terminal, which might be a bit more complicated. But yeah, the way that it works is that, as you can see, this vault test empty is right here. I just have it here, right? And I have the folder space repetition, languages, and test. If I show hidden files, we will see Obsidian. And inside Obsidian, we can see themes and plugins. I have a lot of plugins here, but the one that we're looking at is space repetition. So these are the files that have been downloaded, which is very similar to the files of the original creator has in their page, right? Okay, now I know this is a long-winded answer, but the point is that because these are open source plugins, anyone that is knowledgeable can look into the source code, and they can see if there's any privacy concerns that anyone might have, you know, like anyone that is skilled enough, or like mostly programmers or other creators of plugins, they can always take a look at the code. And if they find anything wrong, like maybe someone created a plugin that is trying to steal your information somehow, then because these are open source, they would definitely announce it to the community. And because the community, the creators of Obsidian are very involved with the community, if you tell them like, hey, this plugin is actually violating the privacy of people. The Obsidian creators can take that down, and then that plugin is no longer available in the community plugins. So, when you create the community plugin, there's actually, let me show you a bit of the more beginner friendly. I know I showed you a lot of complicated stuff, but if you go to the settings and you go to the here, right? Open plugins folder. This will open it in Finder, and here you'll be able to see the exact same thing, right? And here you can see what is the code used in every single one of the plugins. So yeah, this is where it's installed. And this is installed in a hidden folder called .obsidian, right next to all your nodes, right? So anyone can take a look at what is the code that is being used, and if anyone finds the fact that anyone's violating the privacy of people, that plugin would be taken down. Like any plugin that is taken to the community plugins is approved by the creators. Like they have a way to decide, like, hey, do we want to incorporate this into our plugin system? If not, they won't add it here. There's other ways to install plugins manually. People that don't want to make their plugins available in the community plugins, which is why, because there's a bit of a barrier where like the creators of the plugins, the creators of Obsidian need to approve the ones that come here. I would say that most of the plugins that you get from here are safe. At least I haven't had any issues with them. The only issue that I think you might have is, plugins that are unstable. If there's a plugin that maybe does some specific thing, but maybe still in development, it might just not do that thing very well. I know there was one plugin, this one was called Reading Time, I believe. Let me show you. I think it's this one, Reading Time. This one had issues at the very beginning. I know all of the issues have been solved since then, but I know that a couple of people that installed this plugin once, they had a couple of problems, and a couple of their nodes were deleted. Of course, that's one of the biggest fears that people might have, like, oh, what if a plugin deletes my nodes? I haven't experienced that at all in Obsidian, to be honest, but that is why it's really important to have backups. The easiest way to do a backup is just to take the folder where you keep all of your nodes in Obsidian and just copy that into a hard drive, right? You just put it into a hard drive, and this is not a hard drive, but pretend it is, right? Like you take it from your computer, you copy it into a hard drive, and maybe you put the date in the name of the folder where you copy it to, just so that you know when was the last time you did a backup. That is the easiest way. Now, if you want to get more advanced, you can do a GitHub repository, as it's called, or a Git repository that you can store in GitHub, which is what I do. And that way you're able to back up all of your nodes. That is the best thing you can do for avoiding any potential issues, because if you do backups often, which I actually need to do a backup today, then you avoid most of the problems, right? That was a bit of a long-winded answer, but I think it's important to discuss that. So Mo is saying, thanks for the info. What will I learn if I buy your Obsidian course? Cool, thank you for the question. And we'll definitely go back to the space repetition in a second, but yeah, this is something that I do like to address, because it's important to understand this. Like right now I'm literally making a living from my courses, so of course whenever someone asks about my courses, is an opportunity for me to explain what's up with the course, what is it about. So thank you for the question. Let me actually show you. So when you go to my course right here, this is the sales page in courses.santiyounger.com/p, which is an annoying thing that I can't get rid of, /Obsidian, you'll be able to see my course, right? Now, the best way to really understand what I talk about in the course is to go to this section, the online course content, and here you'll be able to see how many lessons I have. You can see what is the duration of them. I don't really calculate how long the course lasts, like saying like 3 hours of content, 4 hours of content. Like I don't put that, because my goal is to make the course as concise as possible, to give you as much value in as short amount as possible. So yeah, I could make a 20-hour course or a 100-hour course, but would everything be useful, or would you be able to actually profit from the course, like actually get the value or even finish the course? I don't know. So I try to keep it concise, which is why most videos tend to be less than 10 minutes. I think I have like one exception. This one is a bit long. I should definitely split that into two, but most of them are, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, like that. So here you can check all of the topics that I discuss. Like take a look at this, see if these are topics that you actually need help with, and you can see everything that there is in here, right? So the main thing that I really tried to teach in my course is getting you started with Obsidian. My goal is to save you time. I want to be able to make the learning process of Obsidian a lot easier and a lot less complicated and a lot more enjoyable. So that is why the course is my attempt to help you learn Obsidian as efficiently as possible. So, if you're interested, especially for beginners, I think my course is really, really good. If you're a bit more advanced, I'm definitely doing other things like one-on-one consultations in which, if you're real advanced and you are designing some system or something that you need help with, then definitely reach out, because I do one-on-one consultations, and in these consultations, I can give you a bit more of custom tailored advice. I also have some more advanced resources planned in the future, but right now this course right here is made for people just getting started with Obsidian. That is where you will benefit the most. If you're advanced or if you're intermediate, you'll still learn a couple of tips, but this course is really, really made for beginners. So that is what the course is about. Thank you so much for asking. Bellem Reese is asking, would you put these folders connected to your Zetocasting to influence the gravity of the graph? Yeah. Okay. So I presume you're talking about like actually, let's go back to Obsidian just to make sure. I discussed quite a couple of different things, but yeah. So like, I presume you're talking right now about these folders from the space repetition. The question would be, would I put all of these folders connected to my Zetocasting? And the answer is yes, because the way that I'm gonna organize my what is it called? Oh wait, give me a second. There we go. Yeah, cool. Sorry, technical issue. I just solved it. Don't mind me. Yeah, the way that I organize my Obsidian, and right now, of course, this one right here is a test one. So this is not my main one. Yeah, the flashcards. Okay, yeah. So Bellery is saying the flashcards. So yeah, okay. So let me answer that the best I can. Okay, so this one right here is just a test demo. What I think a lot of people might do is create a separate vault for their flashcards. I wouldn't advise that, because to me, like, the value in Obsidian is to have one central place where all my nodes exist. So what I might do is I actually have, and I actually, let me see if I can show you. I'll actually open my real vault so that you see what I'm talking about, because this is a test one. Let me open my personal one. I'll show the screen in a second. I'm just checking that there's no, any private nodes in display right now. Let me take a look. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, yeah, let me show you. This makes a bit more sense. Okay, so now this is my main vault, right? My main Obsidian vault. And as you can see, I separate a couple of different things in folders. Now this one right here is my Zetocasting, right? So I'm actually updating it. I'm kind of reorganizing a lot of things, so that's why I have two of these. This is a concept that I'm creating called OWL. It's called Outline with Links, and it's a concept that I'm making up that I'm really, really enjoying, that I definitely want to share with you. It's kind of like my custom version of a Zetocasting, which I think is really powerful, and I'm super excited to share that with you. But yeah, in the meantime, like, this is my default Zetocasting. So these are all of my Zetocasting nodes, and as you can see, down in here, I have attachments, I have book notes. These are books that I'm taking notes on and that I want to share with people. So I have my book notes. I have some external apps like Anki, because I used to control Anki from Obsidian. That I don't use that much anymore. I have other applications that I use Obsidian with. This is my Logseq folder. So I have my Logseq inside of my Obsidian. I have some projects that I've been working on, some artwork, 3D art, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have a lot of things, as you can see. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm actually gonna have space repetition in here, and that is how I'm gonna organize my flashcards. So the same way that we have this one as just a folder, I plan to add this to my main Oh wait, can you see my screen? Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, so that is what I plan to add in here. So yeah, hope that answers the question. I do plan to have everything under the same vault because I think separating it into a separate vault is not always the best idea. So yeah, I don't necessarily recommend separating things in different vaults. I think that just gets complicated. You don't know where to find what. So yeah, I would eventually add everything into the same vault where I keep my Zettelkasten notes. Cool. Let me know if that answered your question. If you have any follow-up questions on that, let me know, because yeah, organizing things, organizing folder structures is always complicated and it's something I'm passionate about. Wow, I've been talking for a long time. Guys, if you have any questions, let me know. If not, let's keep exploring. Let's keep exploring this right here. Actually, okay. Bellenbri has a question, so yeah, or a comment. Interesting. I wonder how you could connect the flashcards by subject in your Zettelkasten. The way I use my Zettelkasten, oh man, this is a whole different live stream in itself. And actually, I want to make. Okay, I'll tell you something I'm working on, something that I'm planning that I think is gonna be amazing. Okay, but again, I don't have any due dates on this. But okay, Zettelkasten I think is really difficult to have a system that actually works. I think getting started on Zettelkasten is not that hard, but actually having a system that works as well as you intended to, having a system that lets you reuse the information that you accumulate over the over time, right? Over the years, I was gonna say. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how much you've been doing your Zettelkasten. Like, the idea is that you can profit from it almost immediately, so that you have an idea somewhere and you can reuse that idea, right? So now Zettelkasten can definitely be complicated, and to connect to your question, I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually have flashcards inside of my Zettelkasten. Like, again, this is a very complicated topic, but the thing that I want to kind of share, that I'm planning, is the fact that I'm working on this kind of style of course. It's kind of like if you're familiar with the term cohort course, I don't like the term, it sounds like too weird, but it's like a workshop. Like, I want to in time release something like it's like a workshop course where you can actually just sign up to the course, and you and I, we have a group call, right? And in this group call, I'm gonna be answering a lot of your questions more in depth, but I want to have one centered around how I do my Zettelkasten and how I integrate it with other things, such as with perhaps the idea of flashcards, which personally I like to keep a bit more separated, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's really, really cool idea, but I think in order to kind of like do these more advanced things, such as how can I integrate my Zettelkasten with my flashcards, I would say it's more important to really have a very solid foundation on how to do a Zettelkasten that really works. And for that, I have experimented a lot on how to achieve a working Zettelkasten in Obsidian and in Logseek. I really like the one in Logseek. Logseek has a couple of features that Obsidian doesn't yet have. But I know that Obsidian will be releasing some of these features in the near future, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, like having a course, having like a group conversation workshop course where I share everything I know about how to build a successful Zettelkasten, So that is something I'm working on. But yeah, I mean, how to connect it with flashcards, I have a couple of ideas, like one of them would be like, maybe you have, let's just do like Zettelkasten, right? And then maybe in here, you can just have maybe, I don't know, like concepts. And then in here, you can just add your flashcard inside of your Zettelkasten, and maybe you can have something like, I don't know, like, I don't know what example, like example Zettelkasten, right? And then this is useful. Example Zettelkasten note, right? And now that way, because this plugin helps you to do things from Obsidian, then now you can have review flashcards, and now you can review your Zettelkasten in a way. It's not a bad idea. You can have like, I mean, you're sparking a lot of ideas in me right now. Like, I don't have a concrete answer to you, but like, I really like the idea of what it would look like to integrate flashcards with Zettelkasten. So far, I've always had it separated. But that's also because of the fact that I've always used Anki and Obsidian as separate apps. But if I were to move my flashcards to Obsidian, then there's a whole new door of possibilities of things that you can do with your Zettelkasten and your flashcards. I don't have a perfect answer for you right now, to be honest, but yeah, I hope that helps somehow. Sounds like group consulting. Yeah, that's exactly, yeah, pretty much, you know. Again, like workshop, cohort course, like there's so many terms to describe this type of thing that I'm planning. But yeah, group consulting is another good term to describe it. Maybe that's a better way to explain it, so thank you for that. Yo, what's up? Ash Myth, did I pronounce it right? Thanks so much for your support. That means a lot. And yeah, if you have any questions right now, I'm happy to answer to them. Yeah, it's hard to be a connector instead of a collector. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of opinions about this, but maybe I'll need to gather my thoughts regarding this. I agree, but maybe that's something I'll definitely like to discuss in another live stream or another video, because it's debatable, you know, like there is some value to collecting certain information, and the idea of connector, yeah, I mean, well, information and like knowledge is about connecting ideas, right? So, you know, the question is like, do you want to connect every single idea? What happens if you have a valuable idea but you don't connect it? Is it useful? Either way, you know, I'm getting into a whole nother debate. I think collecting things can still be useful. I don't think it's something to frown upon completely, but yeah, it's better to be a connector than a collector. Hello, Shatashi. How are you? Thank you for being here. I always appreciate your support. If you have any questions, let me know. We're exploring this plugin right here, a space repetition plugin that is really, really cool. Have to have something like Anki inside of Obsidian. So really looking forward to this. You know, I'm actually gonna keep taking a look at that in a second. But yeah, let's see. I emailed you with my brainstorm for our consult either today. I'm in the thinking mood. Cool, nice, awesome. I'm looking forward to your email. Yeah, I recognize your username from like, you know, you jumping on the live streams, but like I'm not really sure what your real name is so I don't know if I already replied to your email. For a consultant, I think. Oh, okay. I don't want to display your real name in case, you know, you don't want that, but okay, yeah, thanks for saying that. Jorge, awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was you. I didn't want to say your real name if you weren't comfortable with that. But yeah, Jorge, awesome. Yeah, I didn't know this was you. Awesome to know that your username is this one. Yeah, I'll definitely check out your reply to the email. But yeah, really excited about that. Yeah, okay, so for anyone else, you know, watching this, yeah, Jorge and I have been talking about some really cool stuff. He wants to do a system for organizing his D&D, which is Dungeons and Dragons, kind of like campaigns, as well as novel writing for fiction. So really excited to be talking about that, Jorge. That's really cool. So yeah, I didn't know that was you, and I didn't want to display your real name if you weren't comfortable with that, but that's really cool. Thanks for showing the connection that Belembris equals Jorge. Thanks, Jorge. Really appreciate that. Okay, so with that, let's jump straight back into more examples like this. I'm gonna delete this Zettelkasten one for now. But okay, we have test, we have space repetitions, and we have Latin, for instance, right? So now in here, I would like to be able to do a couple of examples. So, for instance, lux means light. Another word in Latin, tempus, means time. Let me zoom into this. Time. Caput means head. You know, just to give you an example of how I would approach language learning with this. And review. So now we can see space repetition. Oops. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Review. Space repetition. Language and Latin, right? So now in Latin I can see lux means light, and that was in Anki. Is really advised to never click on easy, but rather just on good or again. So I don't really know what is the best way to approach this, but for now I'm just gonna put good. Caput means head, so I knew that. Tempus means time, I knew that, right? So yeah, that's how you do the reviews, really cool. And now as you can see, there's this stuff right here. Now if you take a look at space repetition, we have a couple of other things. We have review flashcards, which is the one that we've been using all this time. Review notes as easy, notes as good. What does this mean? Reviewing in settings. Please tag this note. Okay, maybe I need to tag it as good. Yeah, I'll explore this in a second. If you're writing fiction, I highly suggest checking out the long form plugin. Oh, thanks for that, Shitashi. I appreciate that. I didn't know of that plugin. I use a couple of other techniques, and that is something we want to explore with Jorge. You know, like how we can actually develop a working system to write fiction inside of Obsidian. I have a couple of methods, and I have a couple of other suggestions of other tools to use next to this, but I've actually haven't checked this one out. So long form that helps you write and edit novels. Oh wow, I'll definitely check this out. This might actually really help Jorge and I, so thank you, Shitashi, for that. Really appreciate it. Tiziano, what's up? Oh, what's up, man? I know Tiziano. Thanks for joining. This is so cool. Thanks for being here, Tiziano. Really appreciate it. But yeah, let's go back to yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, okay, so the way in which we would organize something like learning Latin. Now let's do another one. For instance, seems like we always need to create a folder, so that's what I'll be doing for now. I might definitely develop a better system rather than just having to create a folder and be redundant every time, creating a note inside that folder all of the time. But yeah, let's just call it Italian for now. And yeah, let's just do some words in Italian. Ciao. You know, hello. Oops, I just copied something by accident. Let me zoom into this. Okay, ciao, hello. What other testa? Head. What other Italian words do I know? I'm learning Italian, you know, like, but of course under pressure, I'm struggling to figure out words. Let me actually check my Yankee just to have a bit of a better list. So in here I have if I browse, I should be able to check out all of my Italian. Where is it? So languages. I really like the way Anki lets you search through all of this. It's just, again, the creation of cards in Anki that is a bit tricky. That is the only disadvantage I see with Anki. Give me a second. Let me just check if the music is still playing all right. Okay, cool. Yeah, all working. Nice. Yeah, well, okay, I'm getting too distracted all the time. Okay, let me just finish this and I'll check the comments. Some really cool Spider-Man. Just watch your Spider-Man video. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for checking that out. That is my most popular video I've ever made. It has like 12 million views. But it's when I was 17 and, like, you know, it's a whole different story. Maybe I'll talk about it some other time, but that's funny. Bella, bellissimo, esatto. Bella, yeah, that's a cool one. I'll definitely add that too. I'll add that to the list of words. Bella, which is beautiful. Yeah, let's take a look at, can you see my screen? Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, so here I have my list of Italian words. So my Italian, yeah, here it is. You know, like, sentences can be definitely useful, you know. So, like, for instance, if we want to have a sentence, let me try one that is not that weird. Parlo inglés o no facile. Okay, so maybe we want to put this one right here in Italian, and we want to put also what it means, you know. So this is from a separate deck, a deck that someone else created that I'm actually using to learn Italian. Buon aspetto, lui aveva un buon aspetto, and we can put that in here. We put the 2 columns, and then we put the translation. I think that will do for now, you know. Let me just check real quick a couple of words. Italian core, yeah, so buono, si, zero. Oh, this is a good one. Engineer is ingegnere. Actually, this is an interesting one because, for instance, we can take a word that we want to see in both languages, both in English and in Italian. I'll actually put it here for now. And if you put 3 semicolons, that as you can see right there, I just did. So like it's 1, 2, 3 semicolons. That should be able to give you the ability to have a reversed flashcard. Not reverse, sorry. What do you call that? Two-sided flashcard. Just the fact that you can see it from both sides, right? You can see the prompt as a question, what is the English word? And then you can see what is the Italian word. So let's just take a look at that, right? Let me just share my screen real quick. So if we go for review, flashcards, and now we go to languages, Italian. Now, lui aveva un buon aspetto, it just means you are looking good. He looked good. Okay. So, like, let's say it was hard. Testa is head. So that was, I would say easy. I'm going to say easy for now because I know that one really well. Ingegnere is ingegnere, but because this is double-sided, we should be able to see it from the other side. There it is. Ingegnere means in English, engineer, right? And that's how it works. Ciao, hello, easy. Bella, beautiful. Parlare inglese no è facile. It's not easy to speak English. Yeah, no es fácil. it's not easy to speak English. It takes a lot of time to learn, doesn't it? But yeah, cool. Let's take a look at what else we got in the comments. I use Johnny Decimal for my file structure, but that's also help with organizing writing. Yeah. Actually, I was talking to Jorge about that. Well, he was telling me that he likes the Johnny Decimal system. Actually, yeah, here he is, Belém Reese / Jorge saying, that looks cool, Shitashi. I'm looking also the Johnny Decimal system, right? Yeah. I mean, like Shitashi is saying that she uses this system for organizing things. I actually prefer the number structure in Zettelkasten rather than the Johnny Decimal system. It can definitely be useful though. I personally don't use the Johnny Decimal system. I prefer other methods, but it's a good idea. I don't think it's bad at all. It's just personal preference, but it's pretty good as well. And I know that Jorge liked it, and yeah, it's definitely a good idea. Hello, I'm new. How do I say your name? I simp on Campi? I don't know. But yeah, hey, welcome. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Nice smiley face. I'm learning Italian too. Io sto imparando l'italiano. Allora? Yeah. Io sono imparando. Sono? Or sto? Not sure. Either way. Sto imparando l'italiano. Either way. I'm terrible at the moment. Do you primarily use Anki for your flashcards, and do you use any other systems and or methods for studying? Oh, that's a cool question. I'll definitely want to make another live stream or another video about learning languages because it's something I'm super passionate about. Yeah, just to answer your question quickly, I use Anki primarily, so that is the main thing that I use. If I end up liking this method in Obsidian, I might switch to Obsidian. If NeuroCache develops their functionality that works for Android, I might move to NeuroCache. But either way, spaced repetition is definitely one of the primary ways in which I learn Italian. The other method that I use, this is important for anyone learning languages, is the immersion technique, as well as comprehensible input, which is just the concept of listening to a lot of the language you're learning, right? So I watch a lot of YouTube videos in Italian. I watch Netflix shows in Italian without subtitles or without translation, and just listening to a lot of the language that you're trying to learn is the ultimate best way to learn it, to speak it. You develop an intuition inside your brain, like a baby does. A baby learns a language just by listening to it for hours, So that is a method. And then I also use this application that I might discuss in the future when I make a video on language learning. It's called Busu. Let me write it for you. Busu. Like that. Oh, wait, is it with 2 S's or with 2 U's? Let me check real quick. I have it here. That one's really cool. Busu. Yeah, okay, I spelled it correctly. That one's amazing. It's the best one that I use. I've used Duolingo for nearly a year for learning other languages, but Busu is still the best one that I've found. So yeah, those are my tips for language learning. Yeah, I like that is limiting. Otherwise, I can get crazy with folders and hierarchy relationships. Yeah. I presume you're talking about the Johnny Decimal system, right? Yeah, no, that is true. I mean, it's definitely easy to just like overflow yourself with a million folders and a million tags. So yeah, the Johnny Decimal system can definitely help with that. It's not a bad idea, especially for projects. If you're writing a book, if you're doing something that involves some sort of categorization, being able to use numbers to organizing is pretty cool. Again, I prefer the Zettelkasten way of branching with numbers, which is like 1, 1.1, 1.1a, that kind of stuff. I don't think do I have a visual to show you that? Maybe some other time. Either way, if you want to see what I'm talking about with the Zettelkasten numbering system, let me know in a comment and I can definitely show you, because I don't have it at hand, but I can definitely find it. Shitashi is saying, I currently use is it mochi or mochi? Mochi is the Italian pronunciation. I guess it's mochi. For my flashcards, just because I love the interface. There's also a plugin for it in Obsidian. I never tried Anki though. I've heard that it has a lot of useful add-ons. So yeah, again, like, let me just share my screen again. Anki is incredible. Like, Anki is the best space repetition software, in my opinion. The only problem with Anki is that, again, like, the creation of cards can definitely be a bit tricky sometimes, or a bit time consuming. In my opinion, Anki really shines where you get shared decks from other people, because it has a whole system for, like, if you get, let me actually just clear this so that you can see this. If you get shared decks, it takes you to a website where you can explore, I don't know, again, let's say we're learning Italian and you want to explore different Italian decks that other people have made. Then, like this one I have, for instance, right? You just click on it and then you can download it, and some of them already come with audio, like this.
Lontano.
Lontano, right, which means far, that kind of stuff. So if you don't have that much time to create your own flashcards, I think Anki is your best bet. But when it comes to creating your own flashcards, the way that you do them is by adding them, and this can definitely be confusing. Like, there's tons of things to consider, there's tons of things to keep in mind. Like, it can get really complicated to create cards, and also to organize the ones that you already created. Like, for instance, here I have some stuff that I was creating myself, just testing. Like imparare, which means to learn, and this just means learning. Like, this is how you create your cards in Anki. But I think the interface can definitely be a bit clunky, a bit confusing at times. So that is the only reason why I'm looking at an alternative from Anki. But I might still keep using Anki. Maybe like for all the flashcards that I have in Anki, that I want to keep using Anki for. Okay, that didn't make sense. Let me rephrase that. I might still use Anki for a lot of the shared decks that I use, but for the cards that I create a lot, the flashcards that I create personally, I'm looking for a bit of an alternative, which is why I'm taking a look at Obsidian, right? And related to what you were saying about Moshi cards, I haven't seen that. Actually, let's take a look, because that could be interesting. Let me just go to the website of Moshi cards. Let's just take a look at what that is, because I haven't seen that. So thanks for the suggestion. Moshi cards. Let's take a look. I'm running out of water. Oh no. Space repetition made easy. Oh, that looks cool. It looks really similar to Neurocache, which is the one that I was exploring the other day. Neurocache is this same idea that it just sends from any application that you use, or at least quite a few. Notion, even Obsidian, Evernote. It sends it to your phone, which I really like. But again, the problem is that they do not support Android yet, so I'm waiting for that. But Moshi card, let's take a look. So you can download for Mac. Oh man, is it Mac only? Oh, that's always a problem. Oh yeah, when they advertise it like this, well, sometimes they're just detecting that I'm on a Mac right now. I might change my computer soon, so I will stop using Mac in the future. But I really hope it's not Mac only. Okay, this is very reasonable, like $5 a month. It's pretty reasonable. Windows app, that's perfect. Okay, so it does have Windows app, and it does have Linux app, which apparently I'm downloading. It's an app image, perfect. Because if you don't already know, where's my laptop? It's not here. Yeah, I use Linux as my primary setup, so it's great that they support. Like, I really love applications that are cross-platform and they support everything. I don't know why I'm downloading this. Let's cancel this. Okay, perfect. Okay, my suspicions that is Mac only were false, so that is great. It was just detecting that right now I'm in a Mac. I'll definitely check this out. Thank you for that. So, the pricing, it says offline local storage, deck sharing. Wow, it looks really good. Shitashi, I have a question for you regarding mochi. First, is it pronounced mochi? That is my main question. Second, is there a way to connect this to maybe like another application, or is it all controlled from inside the interface? I mean, as I can see it here, seems like here's where you create the cards. Yeah, my question is, do you know if there's any integration with maybe like Obsidian or something like that? Oh wait, didn't you just say? Oh, you just said it. There's also a plugin for it in Obsidian. I'm so dumb. Okay, ignore my second question. Just let me know if it's pronounced mochi. You did say that it integrates with Obsidian. I don't know why I immediately forgot that. Let me check that out. That's really crazy. Browse. Ooh, wow. This is an Obsidian plugin that exports Markdown. Oh, that is based on Markdown. Wow, this looks amazing. No way. Thank you so much for that. I'll definitely add this to my list of apps to explore. Now I'm excited. Thank you for that. Oh man, this is the best part about doing live streams. I get to talk to you guys and you get to give me amazing recommendations of things that I wasn't aware of. So thank you for that. Yes, like Cheetos, mochi. Am I even pronouncing Cheetos correctly? Yeah, right? Cheetos. Mochi. Cool. Yeah, the AUR gives you every app you need. Okay, yeah, now we're talking about Linux stuff. I'll be brief about this. But yeah, the AUR is amazing. That is a reason why I only use Arch Linux distros these days. I'm using Garuda Linux. I used to use Manjaro Linux. And I haven't found the need to have a custom Arch Linux setup. But yeah, I'll leave for the AUR. The AUR is amazing. AUR and app images, because unfortunately not every app is in the AUR, in my experience. Of course, most of them are. But either way, I digress. This plugin makes creating cards extremely easy. No way. Shall I check it out right now? I'll just check out a bit more of the sales pitch because that looks really, really cool. Okay, Shitashi, one more question. Maybe a few more questions, but like another question that I have is there any way to export all your cards? Because that is one of my biggest concerns when it comes to using some service. Like for instance, I love Roam Research, to be honest. I think Roam Research is incredible. It's probably one of the best note-taking apps ever. Like it's incredible, but the fact that it costs so much and the fact that you're kind of locked in and it's kind of hard to export all of your notes is a huge downside. Now, that is the reason why I use Logseek, which is like the open source alternative to Roam Research. And I also love Logseek because it kind of lets you export your Roam Research into it, which is to me like probably the best way to get out of Roam Research. But that is one of my biggest problems, like when you use Roam Research, you're kind of locked in into their ecosystem and you can't escape. Obsidian, the best part is that because it's Markdown files, I use Obsidian and Logseek side by side and there's zero conflicts. Like it's not like, hey, Obsidian is forcing me to stay in their service, Neither does Logseek. I can use both and I'm not paying much for either one. I don't pay for Logseek because there's no paying model yet. And I do pay for Obsidian Sync and Obsidian Publish, but those are completely optional. And even personally, like I don't necessarily need both. I don't make heavy use of either. But either way, my question about mochi Cheetos. Okay, so how do you pronounce Cheetos? Cheetos, right? Mochi. Okay, I'll call it mochi. Okay, so yeah, my question with mochi is it easy to export out of it, or is it more like once you use it, you're trapped in it? Also, let's just check how the free version works. Offline local storage, deck sharing. Yeah, it seems like it does let you, even if you don't pay for it, you still have access to your cards, which is always good. Cloud data. Okay, this is really cool that there's a backup. Sync across devices, that is really cool. Oh wow, this looks amazing. Mochi. Yeah, Mochi has an export function that exports your deck to Markdown. That's really, really cool. Wow, Shitashi, you just made my day. You are trapped. Lol. Yeah, that's really cool. You just changed my day, because I was looking at the Obsidian plugin as an alternative to Anki for creating my own notes. Now, one of the problems that I have right now with this plugin is, well, there's a couple of things, right? Like, first, I do like a lot the fact that you can organize things in decks, right? What I don't like yet, and hopefully there's a workaround, there might be a workaround, is the fact that I have to create, if I want to have like languages and then Italian, I already have this node called Italian. I wish it detected this as a deck, but rather is taking the folder, so I have to create a double folder. That is one of the things that I don't like yet. The fact, I understand the ID, and like I said, I think there's a good thing so that you can easily update this. Maybe I just want to do this capital letter, and I don't want that to like destroy the flashcard, so having an ID is essential, but of course it can be quite noisy. Now I can already think of a couple of ways in which I can use maybe a plugin. Let me see if there's a plugin for that. I can like make it cleaner, HTML clean or comment, maybe something, no, not really. Well, either way, I can think of a couple of ways in which I can hack this with CSS so that this is hidden, so that this is not shown unless I hover over it, in a similar way that I do that with links. So for instance, like if I have a link to my website, I don't know if I have this activated even, hopefully, otherwise I'm wasting your time. Why can't I? There we go. Send his website. This makes sense in a second. Oh no, I don't have it activated. Let me see if I can activate it in a couple of seconds. If not, I'll move on. There we go. Yeah, this is what I mean. A way in which I can use an Obsidian CSS snippet so that whenever I hover over something, this is hidden. I made a video on this. Check out my YouTube channel. There's a video on how to make URLs shorter, links shorter. I can think of maybe a hack to make this shorter as well, so that I don't see this kind of like annoying number, but rather only if I click on it, it would go away. That is my hope for something I can do to improve the aesthetics of this. Apart from that, I love that it's in Obsidian. I love that I can search it nicely. For instance, testa, or let's just search for chow. Let's just say that I am in here, right? And I want to search for chow. That is really cool. The fact that I can easily search it, and now I can say like hello or I don't know. General greeting. I was thinking in Spanish, I would say hola, buenos dias. Yeah, good morning. You can, well, that's buongiorno, but either way, like I really like the fact that you can search it all in here. But to me, aesthetics is a big deal, and this is not the most aesthetic solution. I do like the aesthetics of this, to be honest, of this built-in space repetition setup. It's really, really cool. Show answer, heart. It's really, really cool. And seems like you have a couple more really cool stuff that we can do. Let me just add a shortcut to this because I keep having to add review cards. There it is, review flashcard. Let's just do Alt Shift R. Oh, that's not Alt Command R. There we go. So yeah, now with the shortcut I can access this, which is really cool, right? So space repetition, and then we just go and practice whatever we want. Okay, this is another problem I see. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, in Anki, let me show you Anki. In Anki, there's a way in which you can just like put all of this under one folder. Like let's just say I want to practice all languages. All I would have to do is click in there, and if I have any cards in queue, it would just let me practice every flashcard inside of languages, right? Now, what if I want to do the same in here? Maybe I want to practice everything inside of languages, but it doesn't really let me. I need to expand it, and I need to select one of these. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to change that. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, let's see what is in here. I mean, of course, it's definitely worth reading the wiki. I keep opening that even though I have it open somewhere else. If you go to wiki right here, you should be able to see all the information Multi-line hotkeys, reviewing entire notes, incremental reading. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few things. I definitely need to read this to check it out. You know, these all take you to a different part. Card context automatically. Yeah, title based on heading. I mean, I'm really surprised by what this plugin has been able to achieve. You know, like it seems pretty good, and compared to Anki, that is something that has been developed for years and years by lots of people with tons of feedback, tons of users. You know, like Anki is really advanced. But again, like I'm really excited to experiment with Mochi. What a funny name. But yeah, Mochi looks incredible. You know. Special petition, markdown enabled. Bidirectional linking. Oh, we can try a demo. Let's take a look real quick. Getting ready, building indexes. Thanks, Shitashi, you're amazing. Okay, I don't know if this is in dark mode because of this extension that I have. Oh, seems like it's dark mode by default. That's really cool. Okay, so welcome to Mochi. Decks, cards, markdown, space repetition. I'll make this a bit bigger for you. There we go. Import, export, shortcuts. Okay, so new cards. How do I organize things? So new cards. Press space to add to reviews or F to review again. Oh, I like the shortcut. That's really cool. Someone. Wow, this is really aesthetic. And you can also click in here, or you can press escape. Okay. And here it tells you a couple of tips and stuff. I don't know this. Okay, so here you can put, didn't remember, review again. Okay, this is perfect. You know, like I was saying, that is something that is missing on the plugin in Obsidian, because if you take a look at why is it not letting me? Something happened with my. There we go. Study now. If you take a look at how Anki shows things, you have good and again, like, you know, like a lot of people recommend that in Anki you only click either good or again. Like they say that you mess up too much with the algorithm if you click easy or hard. Like you should have a really good reason to put easy and hard. You know, like it's recommended to just use these two. So that is my biggest problem maybe right now with this one right here, that if you practice anything. Do I have anything to practice even? Maybe I don't have anything in queue. Let me just create a new card real quick. Buongiorno. I hope I spelled that correctly. Good morning. Okay. I was wrong earlier. I did say, I made a mistake. I did say that in Anki, if you click on for instance languages, it would show you everything inside of it. I was wrong. I thought Obsidian didn't have that, the space repetition plugin, but if I click in languages now, it will show me. It's just that I didn't have any cards available at the moment. So buongiorno, you know, I don't like the fact that there's no again button, because in Anki, that's a really important button. You put again if you don't remember, or you put good if you do. So maybe, you know, maybe in here you need to think of hard as the again button, but the again button is so important in Anki that I don't know why it would be missing in this one, you know. But what's really cool is that in Mochi, we do have this. Didn't remember just means again. What is this one? Undo last review. Okay, that's just like in Anki you can do a Control Z, Control Z, whatever you say, to go back. And you know, like if you accidentally put I did remember when in reality you didn't, you can undo, which is great. And then you have add to reviews, skip. Okay, I would assume that this means good. You know, like the equivalent of good in Anki. I'm not really sure. Review again. Okay, so if you press F, you review again. Skip learn later. Wow, this is really, really cool. So now I want to see how this works. So decks. Okay, so this nested decks. Wow, I'm super impressed by this. Shitashi, you're amazing. And you have some settings, full width, preferences, font size, dark mode, of course. Yeah, of course. I like that it's auto because my computer is all in dark mode, so it detects that. I'm really, really impressed. Shitashi, you're amazing. You have a dashboard. Ooh, wow. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Now the question is, does it have an Android app? Oh, does it? Oh, I really hope it does. I really hope it does. No, maybe it doesn't. Frequently asked questions. Because, oh no. What is this? I thought this was an error page. This is a weird frequently asked questions page. Either way, like, because I do most of my reviews of my spaced repetition inside of my, in my Android phone, right? In the app. In Obsidian, I could still do that. Well, I still need to check if the spaced repetition plugin works in the mobile app in Obsidian. But either way, it's good to know that I can do that. In NeuroCache, it's literally just made for the phone. I love the idea of being able to use it in desktop, but for me, it's a must that it needs to work on mobile. Shitashi, do you know if it has a mobile app? I really love it. It's so helpful. Yeah, no, this dashboard thing is really, really cool. No, don't worry. I mean, I still think it's an amazing app. But it really doesn't have a mobile app? No. I mean, it's cool that you can import decks from Anki because I have a lot of decks in Anki that I would like to import. No. Oh no. my bubble has been destroyed. It does have a mobile app? Why wouldn't they put that in their website? That's crazy. That's such a big selling point. Is it maybe that the mobile app is not official? Either way, I mean, even I mean, I hope it's official because it means it's better. But why wouldn't they put that in their website? I mean, I'm checking it right now as well. So, Mochi. So, Shitashi, do you use the mobile app at all? Or do you use iPhone maybe? Or do you just prefer doing your reviews on desktop? In which case, that's perfectly fine. I definitely do it sometimes. Ah, okay, found it. Mochi. There it is. Amazing. Is it official? It has good reviews. And someone, this review is interesting. It's very insightful. Someone says, knowing that this is a personal project, I really appreciate this app, even with its current shortcomings. Yeah. Oh, that said, after the latest update, dark mode doesn't work on the app, and my eyes are suffering every time I open it. I feel that pain. I use everything in dark mode, especially on mobile. But hopefully they fixed that since that message was sent, because that was on May. So hopefully there's a dark mode. But again, until they fix that dark mode, maybe I could survive. But that is how it looks like. It looks really cool. I'll try it out. You're saying, yeah, I use iPhone, but I never use the mobile apps. Got you. Just to know, do you have any idea? I don't have an iPhone to check, but Shitashi, can you help me check real quick if Mochi works in iPhone, if there's an app in iPhone, because they really don't have that in their website, which is a huge problem. But I hope they do, because, if I make a video about it, which I'm already thinking about doing that, I always like to be able to tell people hey, this works on Android, this works on iPhone, but it's strange that they don't say that in their website. Yeah, it's pretty new and the developer is pretty young, I think. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how young, but that's impressive. Not that it's a problem to be young. I mean, I'm Santi younger, pretty young. but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to seeing this grow. I really hope it becomes mainstream and that it improves over time, because if more people use it, they'll have more funds to improve it. But it looks incredible. It looks like NeuroCache. Let me just show you. It looks like NeuroCache. But the fact that it also works on desktop is a huge plus, because NeuroCache only works on phone, which I don't fully like that. NeuroCache looks incredible. Again, my only problem with it is that it doesn't work in Android yet, but when it does, I'm definitely excited for it. But Mochi seems to already work in Android and already be functional for the things that I use, so yeah. I have it on my iPhone, I just never used it. Okay, interesting. Well, I highly recommend you give it a try using space repetition in your phone. Like personally, I do my Anki. Um, I haven't set up the setup to show you my phone in here, but like either way, like I have my Anki in my phone and I do that every single morning, right? So that's where I have do you like the cheap tape that I just put? I just really don't like having a facing camera. Like I feel spied, so I just put the stupid little I need to get a black one so that it doesn't look that bad. But either way, you know, like I do my Anki flashcards every morning from my phone, and I really enjoy that. Francesco, yeah, I'm waiting for the NeuroCache Notion integration. Man, same. Like I'm so excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, like kind of anxiously, because to me the dream setup for space repetition is to be able to control things from a table, right? Because if you can organize everything from a table for your space repetition, you know, on one column you have the front of the card, and in the other column you have the back of the card, and then you can have a tag and you can have more information. That to me is the dream setup. And Anki kind of works in that similar style of database, but is not perfect. And yeah, I mean, I wish it was better. But to me, NeuroCache with the Notion integration is ideal. Like, I really hope they release it in Android soon, because yeah, I only have Android. The other day I did a live stream, I was ready to test it, but it doesn't work on Android. So yeah, it's a shame. For now I'm using RemNote, but it's a separate from my second brain in Notion. Interesting. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, no, RemNote, I used RemNote for a couple months. You know, I had all my flashcards in there. I moved out of Anki into RemNote because I really wanted to test it. RemNote is incredible. Like, maybe I just had some bad luck at the time when I was testing it. It was a bit unstable and I had a couple of issues with images and some flashcards deactivating constantly, and I had to activate them again. But RemNote is incredible, you know? So you have your second brain in Notion. Yeah, you know, like the best workflow that I've seen people use with RemNote is actually to have most of their notes inside of RemNote and have the flashcard side by side with the knowledge that you accumulate. You know, I think that is incredible. That is an amazing workflow. That is one of the only reasons, you know, the flashcards inside of, or the space repetition inside of RemNote is one of the only reasons why I've even considered moving everything to RemNote. But to me, it's still a bit unstable, and I really like being able to own my files locally in Markdown, in Obsidian and Logseq. But RemNote is incredible, and Notion is incredible too, you know. Shatash is asking, that reminds me, have you tried any Notion API integrations? I'm working on a Notion CMS system for my blog, but it's very limited right now. Yeah, I've definitely tried the integrations. They're really powerful. Let me show you one of my favorite ones, actually, real quick. Yeah, so one of my favorite integrations is this one, Notion Forms. Yeah, so that is one of the forms that I was working on. Yeah, here it is. Notion Forms. This integration is so easy to set up. I use it for my website. So that is the main one that I've been using. You say that you're working on a CMS system for my blog, but it's very limited right now. Okay, I'll give you two pieces of advice with that, because one is the integrations in Notion are incredible, and testing something like Notion Forms is a good way to see how a good integration is made and how it works. Like it gives you very clear instructions on how it works, right? And the way that works for me is like, for instance, if I go to my contact me, like this Notion Forms, I have a subject, maybe I want to send me a message about Obsidian. It's like, hey, cool course. And then my name is Leonardo da Vinci. And my email is example@email.com. You know, and then submit it, and then that goes into my Notion and is already in Notion for me, you know. So that is incredible. Let me open Notion actually to show you, because this is incredible. I mean, I'll absolutely love it. I have so many tabs open. Look what you've done. So many tabs open. Either way, here's my streaming checklist. And then I have my, what I'm looking for, so dashboard. Let me actually check that there's no sensitive information in here. Central forms. You know what? Let me just filter this because I don't want to show you private emails. Let me just add a quick, not private, public. Yeah, I'll just add a quick checklist in here so that I can show you exactly what I mean, because I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to share the emails that people have sent me that are private. So let me just add a filter here in Notion. Give me a second. Literally 5 seconds. Public. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So as you can see in here, let me actually remove this comment so that you can see it. And yeah, there we go. So as you can see, this is exactly what I sent from my website. So, you know, if we were to do it again, fill again, you will see how instant it is, you know. So this one is like general question. Hey, this is another test from whoever, example email.com. Okay, check this out. Look how quick it is. I submit it, it's sent, and now it's already in Notion. Is it? Oh, okay. It's not in Notion yet because I have a filter. Let me just remove the filter. Oh man, just embarrassed myself. Okay, here it is. Just because I had a filter, so I couldn't. Yeah, here it is. Cool. So here's another test, and as you can see, it's immediate. So that is one of the coolest integrations. All I need to do is share it. Let me see if I can show you this. You know, that's the tricky part about making these type of videos. Well, either way, you know, like if you share it with the integration for Notion forms, that's it. You just need to select a couple of things. But either way, the Notion integrations are great. That is a long story short. And then the second tip of advice I had for you is, Shitashi, is that I am using this app. My website is made completely from Notion. You know, I think I mentioned it briefly in other videos, but as you can see, I'm fully controlling my website from Notion. So this is my Notion website. If I change anything here, that will be reflected into this website right here. So that's incredible, and I'm doing that with super.so. A bit pricey, to be honest, but I think it's worth it. It's like the best CMS, you know, content, what is it? Content management system. Yeah. It's the best content management system for a website. So I highly recommend it if you're taking a look at a way to do that with Notion. Francesco, I did a Remnode video hoping to have the pro lifetime account for free. Until then, I totally get you. You know, like that is one of the advantages of being a content creator. Like sometimes some companies would give you things for free. I've experienced that only a couple of times. Like I don't have that much leverage yet to do that. But yeah, actually send me a link to your video if you can. I'd love to check it out. I'd love to check out your channel. Well, I mean, I can assume that is AVG Francesco, that's your channel, but like unfortunately the chat doesn't let me click on your name to see your channel. So if you can send me a link, that'd be really cool, to your channel. Mo is saying, thanks, Santi, for all the info you put out there. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for watching it all. Thank you for being here. You know, I really love being able to interact with you guys and be able to be helpful. So yeah, cool. Wow, it's been almost 2 hours. This has been hands down the best live stream yet. And thank you so much for joining, guys. Really means a lot. We'll be closing this soon because I'm running out of voice. My throat's starting to hurt from talking so much. So if you guys have any final questions, let me know. I'm happy to still answer them. I also ran out of water, so that's a big problem for me. But if you have any final questions, we can cover that right now. If not, we'll be ending this soon. Yeah, when I'm running out of water, that is how I know I should end the stream. Oh no. Mo, I'm buying the course right now. Hope that helps. Thank you so much. Of course it helps. Like literally, I'm making a living from my courses right now. So thank you so much to every single one of you that has both watched my videos on YouTube or bought one of my courses. Really, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do anything I'm doing. You know, like literally this place, this studio that I have, I managed to move into this place that I'm renting with my girlfriend, like this apartment, because of you, like because of people like you buying the course. So thank you so much. Honestly, you don't know how much it means to me. It's been a dream of mine to be able to make a living as a content creator, and I'm finally able to do it. And yeah, it's thanks to you, Mo. So really appreciate it. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. Woo! My voice cracked. I'm getting sentimental. Yeah, but here's the link you can access to contact me. Then you can send me a message if any of you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like to reach out for. Feel free to do so. So yeah, my voice is dead. I was planning to make a video today, but my voice really I ran out of voice, you know. I need to breathe better so that I can speak for longer. Either way, cool. So some final thoughts. I like the Obsidian plugin, space repetition. I think it's really cool. I will, to be honest, try where is it? I will try Mochi. So thank you so much, Shitashi, for that recommendation. That's really, really cool. I wouldn't have found this. I've been looking for this and I haven't been able to find it. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Santi, for all your work. I look forward to future videos. Thank you so much. Cool. Thanks, Shitashi. Yeah. So again, thank you. Thank you for showing me Mochi. Mochi. I still can't pronounce it. Mochi. I want to say Mochi. But anyway, I'll check out Mochi. Mochi. Can't say it. I still think that the Obsidian plugin is really good, so definitely check that out if you would like to integrate your flashcards with your notes. I think Obsidian is probably the best way to do that right now. Anki, you know, like I highly recommend Anki again if you want to be able to have your, if you want to be able to access other people decks, you know, people that decks that other people have made. I'm going delirious. Anki is great for that. Obsidian is great if you want to integrate it with your notes. Remnode is great if you want to integrate it with your notes. Mochi looks amazing. Neurocache, when it supports Android, might be something I explore. But with that said, we have tons of options. It really depends on what is it that you're looking after. But with that said, those are the concluding thoughts. Thanks everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you in the next one. Keep an eye on Twitter. That's when I'll be announcing when I'm gonna be on live streams, until I have a proper schedule that you can, you know, anticipate a bit more. But in the meantime, thank you for all of you that have hopped into this really cool conversation, and thanks again. Really appreciate it. Oh wait, final thing. You can share and download text from other people in Mochi too. Ah yeah, cool. I did read that somewhere. I'll definitely check that out. Awesome. You know, like, I think it's here. Oh man, I just never know when to stop, do I? I saw somewhere that you can share decks. Where is it? Deck sharing. Ah, nice. And that seems to also be available in free. That's really cool. You know, if I end up using Mochi, I'll definitely create some decks, and it'd be cool if I can share it with other people too. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, I need to go before I keep going forever. See you guys. Thank you. Bye. Where's the tab to finish this stream? I completely lost the tab where I end the stream. Okay, here it is. Okay, found it. See you guys. You're awesome. Bye.